Okay, good day everyone. I am Angelo P. Arsenal from the Bitlid HE2A, and I am going to discuss the chapter 11, which is the gene therapy, or the what we should know about the stem cell treatment in the Philippines. Okay, let's go to the first slide. When identifying the contribution of technology to biology, the first place to look would be the field of human health. The whole vast concerns of human health, including aging, disease treatment, and prevention, and also the diet and the general lifestyle have greatly benefited from technology. Medicine is one example of a scientific and technological innovation that made a breakthrough in the area of the human health. As we all know, technology has transformed on on how we understand and how we manage the human health by enabling earlier diagnosis, more accurate treatment, and the continuous monitoring. For example, the MRI and the CT scans. It allows doctors to see the internal organs without the surgery, and wearable health trackers to monitor our heart rate and sleep, to guide lifestyle changes, and electronic health records that make easier for the healthcare workers to collaborate when treating patients. And these tools show how technology strengthens our biological understanding and how it improves our patient care. Paragraph number 2. So, read: before aspirin was ever understood at the nano level, it had been known for its effects. Pain of various forms could be relieved and softened by this medicine. The aspirin was already an old technology at the beginning of the 21st century, and the more recent findings in the areas of nano and gene science can be incorporated into medicine. If new discoveries on the areas of molecular and atomic physics were applied to the biological basic building blocks, the genes, even greater technologies for human health may be found. So, okay, so um, um, the aspirin demonstrates how how medical technology grows from simple use to a deeper scientific understanding. Although it was used for centuries, um, scientists later discovered its exact mechanism, inhibiting the cyclogen, so the enzymes, the right enzyme to reduce pain and inflammation. So today, the advanced fields like nanomedicine use tiny particles to deliver drugs directly to the diseased cells, um, as seen in liposomal this one, this liposomal doxorubicin, right? Maybe correct me if I'm wrong, used for cancer treatment. So likewise, the gene-based technologies such as the CRISPR or the gene editing offer the possibility of correcting genetic flaws at the molecular level. This shows how innovations in physics, chemistry, and biology lead to more precise healthcare solutions. Okay, next slide. Okay, next, um, read. Suppose scientists would like to fashion a gene to counter cancer cell growth. After several steps of developing the technology, its success would still depend on its science and implementation. To achieve the goal, the harmful gene has to be found among the 46 such structures in the ordinary cells of the person. The specific part of the gene doing the problem should be identified. Afterwards, that section of the gene must be removed and replaced with the correct or the developed gene part to complete the therapy. In this process, it would then correct the misinformation encoded in the whole gene. uh, in the whole gene. Okay, so gene-based therapies only rely, or should we say rely, on identifying the harmful mutation and replacing or disabling it with precise tools. For example, the scientists use whole genome sequencing to detect the cancer-causing mutations like the the what should it, what they call the BRCA1 and the BRCA2, and then apply the molecular tools such as the CRISPR or the Cas9 to cut out and or repair the defective DNA to deliver the corrected gene. And researchers use the viral vectors or the AAV or lipid nanoparticles which transport the fixed genetic material into cells. This step-by-step process shows how genetics and biotechnology work together to design targeted treatments for disease like cancer. Okay, next slide. Okay, so what we should know about the stem cell treatment in the Philippines. According to Totel de Jesus, Manila, Philippines, in the recent years, it's common to hear beauty doctors in the Philippines offering stem cell therapy as if it is a newfound medical fountain of youth, the answer to all medical worries. Um, in various media platforms, there are bombardment of advertisements from various hospitals and clinics packaging stem cell therapy as cure-all remedy. So, public advertisements often exaggerate stem cell therapy by promoting that it is a universal solution to aging and disease. But in reality, legitimate uses of stem cells are limited, such as in bone marrow transplantation for leukemia or lymphoma. While many cosmetic clinics in the Philippines claim that stem cells can reverse aging or treat unrelated conditions without scientific proof. This shows uh, this shows the gap between the real medical science and misleading commercial marketing. Next paragraph. With such medical breakthrough, it begs the question on how equipped we are in offering such services. We can't help but ask the parameters on distinguishing the real experts from seemingly fly-by-night clinics and medical centers. So, in determining a legitimate stem cell provider, um, um, it requires, or we should require, the examining their credentials, the facilities, and the regulatory approval. And some experts should have board certification in fields like the regenerative medicine or oncology. And treatments should be supervised by the DOH or the FDA and conducted through registered clinical trials. Red flags red flags include clinics that promise guaranteed results, refuse to show scientific evidence, or perform treatments without proper licensing. For example, some unregulated beauty clinics often stem cell injections for anti-aging despite having no published medical studies and supporting their claims. Okay, next slide. Filipino-American doctor lawyer Samuel Bernal, an expert in the fields of regenerative medicine and regulatory law, said the public should take a lot of precautions. So, um, experts like Dr. Bernal remind the public that not all stem cell therapies are safe or effective. Uh, and his warning reflects a broader medical concern. Only a few stem cell applications, such as treatments of blood disorders, are clinically proven, while other uses like stem cells for cosmetic rejuvenation or general wellness have little scientific basis. Listening to qualified experts helps avoid unsafe or fraudulent treatments. Next paragraph. Be careful. Number one, stem cell treatment or therapy is not a cure-all or not a medical procedure, he said. The goal of stem cell therapy is not a longevity or anti-aging program. Stem cell therapy is actually trying to allow the body to heal itself, he said. Dr. Bernal emphasizes that stem cells support our natural healing rather than serving as miraculous anti-aging solutions. For instance, stem cells are being researched for helping spinal cord injuries or Parkinson's disease, but these are still under the strict clinical trials. Meanwhile, clinics claiming stem cells can erase wrinkles, reverse aging, or cure multiple unrelated disease, like misrepresenting the signs, or um, or it it makes us misrepresenting the signs. Um, this highlights importance of realistic expectations when evaluating medical treatments. Okay, next slide. Okay, let's read. Educated at Johns Hopkins and Harvard Medical School, Dr. Bernal is currently Professor Emeritus of Medicine of UCLA, a member of American Association of Clinical Oncologists, the American Association of Cancer Researchers, and a recognized cancer investigator with the US NIH. So, um, Dr. Bernal's extensive background that his proves his credibility in both research and clinical work. Professionals with similar qualifications often lead clinical trials or write peer-reviewed publications and contribute to treatment guidelines that shape the modern medicine. For example, the NIH affiliated researchers, and it helped design cancer therapies, ensuring that they undergo rigorous testing before being released to the public. Next paragraph, let's read. As a lawyer, his legal expertise includes cases on medical malpractice and medical product liability, as well as FDA and FTC regulations in the testing, approval, advertising, and marketing of health products. So, um, so having both medical and legal expertise, it allows Dr. Bernal to understand on how medical technologies should be safely regulated. For example, the FDA sets standards for approving stem cell products, while the FTC monitors false medical advertisements. Lawyers in this field help shut down the clinics and making it fraudulent medical claims, and also what they said, they protect patients from malpractice and ensure our medical products undergo the proper testing before use. He also explained that stem cell treatment requires analyzing and the molecular level what is causing the problem or what could be done to prevent the problem. Next slide. According to Dr. Bernal, stem cells are just a small part of the molecular approach to medicine. Um, in my opinion about that saying, um, stem cells are an important part of molecular medicine because they can repair or replace damaged tissues, but but they represent only one small piece of the field. Molecular medicine also includes gene therapy, molecular diagnostics like PCR tests, targeted drug treatments such as the Herceptin and personalized medicine based on a patient's genes. Together, these approaches help doctors understand and treat diseases at the molecular level, making healthcare more precise and effective. And that's all about the chapter 11, and thank you for listening. Bye.